Good evening, everyone. Welcome to closing comments here for March 26th. Let's jump right into our charts and see what happened in the markets today. First up, we got our June live cattle on the board. We did see this June contract picking up about $1 on the day here as this market did rally back inside that prior day's range. Opening bid here today coming in at 232.5, rallying right off that opening range today and seeing a nice drive into the close. This market finishing just shy of 235 there. Still hanging out inside this prior supply zone. Still seeing resistance keeping this market capped here in the mid 230s. We expect to see those bears try and fight back into tomorrow's session. Look for them to try and push this market back down here towards these week lows and a bonus points if we get a finish down here below that bear pivot and these major averages for the week. That should set them up for some more downside into next week. However, look to see how these bulls battle this thing out here to close out week 12. If this market continues to tighten up here against this 236.5 level or even get a close above it, that would set up the bulls nicely for some upside into next week, potentially get that uptrend back on track. But in the meantime, we still have these lower highs controlling. The downtrend still remains intact here at the moment. To look for those bears to defend this mid 230 area and try and get this market pushing lower once again. How we finish out this week is going to be important and set us up good for the next leg out of here as we head into week 13. So look for the bears to try and defend this 236.5 level. Any sort of closes above it will set us up for some upside in next week. But in the meantime, let's wait and see how this week finishes up, and that should set us up for some better opportunities as we move into week 13. Next up, we got our May feeders on the board. Today's action opening up down near that prior day low here as well, rallying in and getting a close above that bull pivot there, finishing just off a 352 on the day. This market's still staying down here below these prior day highs, so the bears still could keep this market capped up here right around 353.25. Look for them to offer some resistance here across both live and feeder markets here. We are seeing pretty equal distribution here this week, so range conditions should show good resistance up here near these current week's highs. Look for those bears to try and defend this line here. If they do get a nice strong close near the week's highs and back above 353.25 here, that could set them up for a rally back towards 360 in the next week. But we expect to see the bears come out swinging tomorrow and try and fight back here for both live and feeder markets and keep this downtrend intact. Look for those bears to try and take another run back down here towards the 340s. Next up, we got our May corn futures on the board. Today we just saw a nice little balance day here. Price retesting yesterday's opening range. Kind of seeing a nice little rally back here above 465. Not a whole lot of information here today, but those bulls trying to keep this thing held up against this 465 to 470 level. Look for them to try and drive this thing higher into the weekend. A nice strong close here by the bulls should set them up for some upside and get this market marching up there towards $5. Next up, crude oil prices continue to rally here today. We did see this market testing the midpoint of that prior day's range, rallying up there towards 95 on the day, getting a close back above 92 here. At the moment, this was a pretty good reload by those bulls here this week, coming back to that 20-day average, picking up some buyers, and already starting to move back out of here. As long as they're trading above 92 here, look for them to try and push back up here on $100. Not expecting a whole lot of big breakouts here in the moment, barring any sort of big news out there in Iran. But at the moment, this market is starting to get another bid here, and we could see this thing to try and make another test up there towards $100. Look for volatility to remain elevated here in this crude market, and try and make another run up there here to finish out the week. And more downside across the equity markets here today. After balancing out for the last couple days here, we finally saw this market kind of break down again. The NASDAQ leading this thing lower with a nice breakdown here, finishing at new 6-month lows. This market down here with that close below 24,000 really opens up the potential selling pressure here. Look for this downside to continue into next week and keep driving these equity markets lower. The Dow was the strongest on the day, but that close down here below that prior day low does open up some more downside. Look for this thing to start heading back down here towards this opening price for the week. We should see the sellers continue to weigh heavy across all these indexes here. Now is the time to still remain pretty defensive and wait for this market to settle out before we start committing any capital to these markets. In the meantime, sit back and enjoy the ride as this market continues to see some downside. there will be better opportunities to put money to work. So in the meantime, just let this market continue to correct. That's all we got for this week. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We will catch you this weekend for our Week 13 Market Watch. Have a good night.